everyone. Good evening. Hi. Hi. Hi, good evening. Hi, Dog Ozone. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hi, good evening. So we're just going to wait for our guests to join in and we can get started. Okay. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in so early. Hi, so I'm going to wave at everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening to our guest who's joining in. Hi, hi.
Hi,
I know that
hi, good evening.
we've all heard the news that something happened in the Red Sea. So all of us, we don't have network in the whole of West Africa and East Africa. So I'm just going to appeal to our audience for all those who can join us or who have been able to join us. Thank you so much for joining in early. That's number one. And then number two, please, in advance, we're apologizing if we have any technical glitches or anything like that. Please forgive us. I mean, we're all going through it, right? So thank you so much for joining in. Kemi, can you hear me? So I'm going to wave at everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Ah,
Can you
yes,
hear
so
me?
Hope Praisers, they are strong supporters. I mean, they've been anticipating this. Yes, but I feel like there is a lag, so I'm not certain. I think there's a lag, but I can see you blinking, so I think I don't know.
I agree there's a lag. Is it any better now?
Yes, I think so because I can hear you clearly now. Hi, thank you all so much for
Okay,
joining us
hopefully.
early. Yeah, hope. Are you paused? Okay, don't mind me. I'm just trying to welcome everyone. Kemi, don't mind me, please. I'm just trying to welcome everyone. Ish, thank you all so much, like I said, for joining. Yes. So I keep waiting. I keep waiting for to hear what you're saying. Because this session is just going to be 30 seconds, right? We just want it to be 30 seconds. So I'm going to introduce our guest speaker today. I mean, like when I saw her name, because there let's do this and let's do this, and I'm like, oh, amazing, we're going to have Kemi on our live session. Wow, because the delectable Kemi, oh my god. Oh, my video is blinking. Hey, God. All right, as long as you guys can hear me. You might say, what color of thunder should she send to this network? Please don't send. We are complaining that the thing under the sea is bad. You now want to send thunder to go and meet it there. Please don't send any thunder. Okay, okay, okay. Yes. So let's go live with Kemi. Let's see if she can join once again. Okay, we have her back. You're back. You
I'm
are
back.
back. You are
I'm
back.
thinking
Right?
maybe if I turn off my camera, maybe it might help.
Kemi,
I don't know whoever
can you
took us
hear
down.
me?
I
Oh,
can
that
hear
right.
you loud and clear.
Kemi, can you hear me? I should start rapping. Oh, okay, sorry. I guess this one is my own network then because I was not hearing you. I wasn't
Yeah, so I'm saying
hearing you. But
maybe if I
yes, I
turn
think
off
we can
my
get
camera.
started. We want to see your face, so please.
Okay,
Oh my God.
we'll try.
Okay, yes, yes. So I was just telling them that, I mean, when I got the message that you were coming, like you were our special guest, I was like, oh my god, because really I was not part of this decision making process. And obviously, if I was part of it, I would have, said yes, it has to be Kemi. But seeing as I was not part of the decision making process, and I got to hear, oh my god, it's Kemi, I'm like, okay, no problem, we are set. Everybody that joins today and even watches the replay, they are set. In fact, anything they hear like this evening, they don't need to listen to any other person again. They are set for life. Oh my god. So yes, we have Kemi Adefisayo on our live today, and I'm just going to give like a very, very brief introduction of Kemi, right? So she's a dynamic business leader and social impact advocate with a passion for driving innovation and sustainable development across Africa. Now, if you are on this live and you've ever had to work with Kemi, or you know of our work, you know that it is exceptional. You know that it is excellent. I mean, every time we have to collaborate with her, I'm always like excited. I'm going to learn a lot of things, right? So yes, but let me go ahead with the introduction. And as a business leader at Lion Africa Group, she spearheads strategy, she spearheads growth, partnerships, and operations, and she showcases her expertise in business management and problem solving. But beyond all her corporate pursuits, Kemi is the visionary founder of Chanza Africa. You guys, have you heard about Chanza? See, you people don't get it. You guys don't understand. Like, these are people that are doing things. So let me tell you a bit about Chanza Africa, right? So Chanza Africa is a pan-African social startup dedicated to, see, someone even said she can testify. Kemi don't play, she didn't see. In fact, this is all the testimonial we need. But yeah, so Chanza Africa is a Pan-African social startup dedicated to empowering entrepreneurs and innovators. And since its inception in 2023, Chanza has empowered over 80 participants from Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, South Africa, and Kenya. Imagine the reach in just 1 year. So you know that the person who is the visionary lead of this, has the vision. Follow no roads, but sorry, I digress, right? And, they have been able to catalyze sustainable development and impact problem solving. She, Kemi, is an Afro-optimist and advocate for social responsibility and is committed to fostering a community of change makers dedicated to the betterment of Nigeria and the African continent. And she authored the book, Profitable Problems. Guys, when you hear this, but let's not be like I'm hyping her too much because, but she authored the book, Profitable Problems, a guide to building sustainable, inclusive, and socially conscious businesses from problems around you, emphasizing the role of business in socio-economic development through social entrepreneurship. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, here comes Kemi. Yeah, so we have Kemi on this session with us today. So Kemi, do you want to say a few words to our guests who would also watch this replay? I mean, after hearing all of this, no. But yes, you want to say hi to our guests?
After hearing all of this, I'm saying, what more? What shall I say? What more can I say? In fact, I concur when Imani says that we need to add hype woman to your bio. I have never seen this element this side, but now that I see
it, my God.
But thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be here. I'm really glad to, just be a part of the work that Tech Africa is doing. It is such holistic work. It is such life-changing work. And, just to see how far it has come, to see where we are right now, and just having this session to also talk to people about how we can make that change in our community. I know the focus is for rural communities, low-income communities, but should it be that we have somebody on the live session today who doesn't even play in the rural space or low-income communities, I can guarantee you that, by the end of the session, you're going to be going back with a thing or two that you can do differently with your project and the work that you do. So thank you, Soe. I'm just to the whole team. Thank you.
All right, so I didn't want to mention it as part of her introduction so that it's not be as if because we know Kemi, we are hyping her. But Kemi is also on the board of Tech Africa. And like I said, when you have such people that are directing you, you know that you are going in the right direction. Really, you just know that you are going in the right direction. But let's get into the session because we're almost 10 minutes in, right? And I will just go straight into the questions and ask Kemi what inspired your journey into, social development, basically. But just like your book talked about how, a guide to building sustainable, inclusive, and socially conscious businesses from problems around you. So it means that right from years before, you've always been the kind of person where a challenge or a problem is not necessarily a challenge or a problem to you, right? So basically, what drove you into what you're doing now, social development?
Okay, great. So I used to be
Oh, is this my network? Okay, just to say, if this isn't my network, please let's just be patient. Like I said in the beginning, okay.
I saw, is it any better? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you
All
now.
right. So I'll try to speed up my speaking just so we don't have this, but like I was sharing, for profit. I recall right after uni, I had started doing some work on radio, and then I was speaking to a friend one day, and he just talked about the challenge, with having to wash clothes as students. And I'm like, okay, this seems to be a problem that a number of students have. What can we do about it? And that led me down the road to, well, my second business in that sense, where we started this on-campus laundromat. It was simply wash and fold, Uniben. If we have any Uniben students here, hola. But yeah, wash and fold, and all of that. And I did that for a few years. And I mean, it was pretty challenging. It was fun going through, the whole process of setting up, and that happened. But now talking about the journey to core social entrepreneurship, or basically, businesses that solve problems, my first encounter with that would be a friend who was trying to create a solution, a saving solution for low income communities. And I don't want to call them rural women, but we can put them in that category. But let me say low income communities, market women, people who do not, low income earners in that sense. And, he had created this application that would then go out, more of modernizing the Agile system that we have now, right? And I got on that project, and it was in one of the team meetings that we're having. He just made mention of the book Banker to the Core. He talked about it being one of the books that he had read, you know. How, and I could see other examples of businesses that was doing that. So I'm like, okay, this is possible. Of course, that led me down further research, working with these people myself, up until the point that I wrote the book, and then starting Chanza, because I think that that kind of knowledge should be democratized. And it even is dawning on me that it should be democratized to not just business owners, but even individuals. Because the more we become socially responsible as a people, I mean, imagine if you pick one person or one project and say, you know what, I'm going to do something about it, even if I'm just going to be reaching out to 5 people. And we have, say, 1,000,000 people think that same way and do that same thing. I can just imagine the ripple effect that that would have. So beyond just, taking that gospel in a sense to business owners, it's also taking it to individuals that, hey, we need to become more socially responsible as a people, even if it's just one person. So that's more of the summary of how the journey started and how we got to Chanza. Yes.
Okay, that's really, really amazing. I mean, if we could have more people like you who would say to themselves, "Oh, I want to become more socially responsible," and influence other people to be like that. I mean, the world would be a better place. So that's why I said, and other people have already said it that Kemi don't play. She don't play. But let me ask the next question, right? Okay, so can you just talk about a major barrier that you have faced and how you're able to overcome it? Especially, I think I would like to streamline it to, working maybe with Chanza or founding Chanza, all of the work that you have done spread across countries so far. How have you been able to, overcome whatever challenges or barriers that you have come in contact with in your journey?
So I was gonna take it from the angle of dealing, for example, with the women we worked with, but I'm gonna get
Okay.
I want to start with something more core. And I think the biggest barrier that I have had to overcome would be, and it might sound cliche, but it takes such a toll and could literally just cause someone to take a different turn in what they should actually be doing. So I think I would mention it. It's actually a problem of, identity and the battle that happens in your mind. Where you're like, why should it be me? We ask that question all the time. Like, everybody's going through a lot. I'm not the only one going through a lot. So why do I have to be the savior? That's one question, right? So there's that battle of, why are you focusing on other people's, problems? Focus on your own first and get better. But the question is, we're always on this journey to becoming the next big thing for our lives. If we wait till the very end of it, which almost has no end, if we want to wait till the very end of it till we acquire everything we want to acquire and amass all this, accolades and resources and all of that, by the time we get to that end, I think it will be too late to want to then look back to someone else to say, how can I, help them on their journey? And I hope that answers a question for someone who you're saying, oh, but I need to make all the millions myself. I need to attain all the heights myself. As much as that's a good path to follow, I think that it's most important to also take along people with you over the projects that you can put out, be it in communities, be it one person. Because the truth is, you'll never get to the end of that chase of becoming better and amassing all. So just start where it is right now. So I think one of the core barriers I hope you can still hear me. I see Made saying hola. I hope we can still hear me. Essay, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I
Okay.
can.
So yes, the for me, the biggest barrier was that battle in the mind and just that identity. How would the messaging come? Where does it start from? How will I sell it? How will I convince? But then something I have found true is that clarity comes in doing. And sometimes when we're thinking about all these things in our mind, we do not have direction. We do not have, the roadmap because we've not taken any action, right? So take the action. Start. Okay, I want to do this in this community. Or for example, Chanza, I really want to get people together and help them change how they think, right? Don't just think about where's the money. I think about where's the problem that I can solve so I can make the money from it too and make a difference. And, take the first step towards it. What happens when you take the first step towards it is, like I said, clarity comes in doing. So the roadmaps become clearer. But most importantly, you are then exposed to people who can also refine this vision that you have, this idea that you have. You are exposed to people who are going to build, right, alongside with you. You then begin to realize that, hey, I'm not alone. As much as you thought it was just you in your mind, right? You then begin to realize that. So for me, that would be like the biggest, right? But moving away from personal barriers now and just technicalities, and maybe this would help for someone who is putting out a project, working on something. And I know the book that Tech Africa just released is gonna do a lot of justice, right? So congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
But one of
Thank you.
a barrier in the field would be engaging with stakeholders. I think that
Oh,
it's so it is so important because you need to, especially when we're talking rural now or low income earners, it's very important that you get the buy-in of the stakeholders. So I think we should even first define who are stakeholders. Stakeholders are, first of all, people who would use your product or your services, right? Stakeholders, of course, you already had these women who would come around, right, to collect 100 naira every day. Don't look down on 100 naira. 100 naira is a big deal. So they had these women, and that was when I began to learn the value of money. I'm telling you, like, if 200 naira
yeah.
misses from these people's money, it won't be funny. So, they already had these women who would go around collecting 100 naira, 200 naira. We were coming to say that this is a better approach. This is a safer approach, right? This is one that you can also earn, like interest wise, gives you access to financial opportunities in terms of business loans or grants and things like that. It was so hard to penetrate the market. As much as the product was great, right? It was so hard to penetrate the We were just going directly to people who would use the product without getting the buy-in of the stakeholders. And it was till we realized that we needed that
Yeah.
buy-in. That was where the game changer happened, right? So we literally, what changed it all for us? We simply met a lady in one of the markets who, people knew, they trusted, they liked. And we simply much got her to be like an ambassador and a few other women like that. And so it was a case of, so sometimes for projects that we're rolling out, products and services, you need the buy-in of the stakeholders, people who have influence over those who you are planning to change their lives, right, with your product or service. So
Yeah.
another major barrier would be just navigating that stakeholder conversation.
Yes, thank you so much, Kemi. This message about navigating the stakeholder relationships is a very important one. Let me tell you how I spent my day. We had to journey to go and meet a particular stakeholder and some members of the team. Today, particularly today, we actually went to journey and because she was saying, oh, the last time we are in the community, so and so and so happened, and she wasn't happy. And we're like, oh my, this is a major person. This is a person that influences the rest of the women in the community. So it is important that we meet with her and actually discuss and smoothing every difference and everything, right? And then by the time we had finished discussing with her, she was like, yes, okay, now she's going to gather the women. She was now, more receptive. And I was like, ah. So yes, this stakeholder management is very, very, very important. So for all those who are here with us, who are live with us, please take note when it comes to any other, like, other things are important, yes, but getting the buy-in of your stakeholders is important. Let me put it that way. It's like really, really important. So I'm just okay. Kemi, you want
I
to say
just
something?
wanted to mention, yes, just because we
Yeah.
might move from here and I may not be able to come back. I think another thing, probably I should have started with it, something that is also important and could be a barrier would be also the functionality of the product, service, or project you choose to implement. Not just doing it for show because it looks good on you, but does it truly deliver the transformation that you're seeking to do?
Yeah.
And it's really important, because what that does for you is you're not just thinking about it, like you're not walking in the shoes of the people, right? You are hearing from those who are working in those shoes to say, this is what the issue is, this is what the problem is. And sometimes it's so easy to just do things like, oh, let me just walk in their shoes. What does it feel? You cannot feel as much as they would know, right? So it's important that in the design of that project, product, service, that you truly deliver on the functionality in a way that causes the transformation that you seek. And it's okay to pause when you come to realize that you've not been able to do that. There's no point in just going like, oh, we've already started, so let's keep going. No, it's okay to pause, because at the end of the day, it's not just in the doing, right? When, for example, you have the investors or you have the attention of the world on you, and they're saying, okay, so show us you've done this thing, show us that you've really made a difference with it. That's where the problem is. So when you're thinking of the product, the service, the project, that initiative, you should think about the functionality. You should think about the fact that can the people you really want to target or change their lives, can they really use it? How is it? How accessible is it? And that is why I'm so proud of what Tech Africa is doing. I recall, in one of the sessions that we had, we're talking about building a learning curriculum, let me put it that way, that is tailored for the women, right? We could have just gone ahead to do another course on financial inclusion. But the question is, will they get it? So it's not because you did that thing on financial inclusion. It's not because you rolled out, another initiative. Will they get it? So I think we need to begin to move away from, oh, everyone is doing it this way. We need to begin to move away from, oh, it looks good on me, to how well does it deliver on the transformation that we seek for these people? And I think that once we're able to crack that, that's like a huge barrier, because the road is now easy. You can easily describe the transformation you're creating, the functionality, and you know that the people can use it. So yeah, I wanted to mention that.
Thank you. I don't know how to appreciate you. Because the reason why I'm saying this is because you have touched on like 3 different chapters in our book, and it's really mind-blowing that we have the same thoughts, because it just shows that, oh, from the wealth of experience that we have, that is how we are speaking, right? Or that's how we have written this book. Because really, these are the things you face on the field. You have to understand that whatever it is that you're bringing to the women, they have to, it has to be suited to their needs. You have to know how to manage your stakeholders properly. You just have to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, you're involving them, and you're not just doing it in isolation to make yourself look good, or just as part of your CSR or something like that, right? You have to actually be intentional about it. And because we have just very few minutes left, I would just ask you, Kemi, what are your what's your advice basically for aspiring change makers like myself, right? Like, I'm aspiring, I'm coming to where you are. No, you are there already. Okay, so what's your advice for aspiring change makers who are either facing challenges or who are about to start? Like, there was something you said, which there's someone who I know, a coach of mine from years back, who, I wanted to start a business, and I would tell him, oh, these are my challenges, and he would say, just start. Right, and I never understood it until a couple of months later, and I just started, and before I know, resources just started coming my way and everything. So for people who are stuck, who are about to start, or who have started already, and it's like, the challenges ahead of them, they are looking like a mountain, right? What's your advice for them?
So there's this saying that I love so much. I'm not sure if I can pronounce it, but it's from some Japanese guy, I think Song Su or something, but TZU, that's a part of his name. And he talks about how you do not prepare for battle in the middle of a battle, that it's an unwise soldier. understanding helps you. It's like when you know that there's a problem here, there's a way you just go. You're like, you know what, I'm ready for this, right? Let's face it head on. So that's the first mental. But as you already know that, another thing that I love to say, I think really that it's hardwired in our DNA as Africans to be innovative. And this is not me trying to be, is it racist now or continentist? Whatever that is, that's not what it is. But when we go back to history books, you see in Benin, they say we have this moat around it, and it was when there was war. We had our people build that. Like there's that hard wiring beyond just Africans as human beings. When you focus on a problem long enough, you would find the solutions for it. And I think that's where the whole clarity comes from doing, because your mind is then more conscious, even to the things that could be possible solutions. So I think a realization that hardwired in your DNA, there is the ability to be innovative. I do not think that, and I do not agree that problem solving is reserved for a select few. The more you apply yourself to solving problems, the more you apply yourself to building strategies, the more your mind is able to churn out even more, right? So know that in the first, as the very foundational level. And I think that the next thing is to get to forge ahead. I'm still getting knowledge. I'm still looking for what's that I can go through to help me be better. Who's that person that has gone ahead? Am I sure if I say it? Will it really gel? Will it really? But do not build in isolation. The more people, seasoned people in terms of leaders, mentors, and even colleagues, because it's not just people ahead, people around you who have grown expertise in certain areas, the more you're able to pull them together, you're able to get more scale, you're able to get speed, you're able to get results even better, right? So do not ever um, do not ever, there's a word I'm looking for, do not think lowly in that sense of the power of collaboration and how bringing in people to the vision that you have could make a lot of difference. So these are some of the things that would be an
Okay, so I think I lost Kemi there. But yes, guys, if you don't take anything away from this session, number one, clarity comes from doing. Number two, seek knowledge. And number three, collaborate. These are very important. These are key things when it comes to, breaking barriers in your social development programs or projects. Thank you all so much for joining in. A lot of the things that Kemi has said in this live session today, we have it in our book, which is why we said, oh, we're going to make sure that we write this book, number one, and then number two, we make sure that it's affordable enough for everybody to get, right? So on the book, we have tactics for successful women's programs in rural communities. We have different topics talking about engaging stakeholders, making sure to involve the men in the community, collaborating, and not, you know, competing. There are so many topics in the book, but they just guide you on whatever community project that you're doing, especially in rural communities. So thank you, everyone. And yes, we also have a rural community of practice where you get knowledge. So when Kemi was speaking about seeking more knowledge, collaborating, how do you collaborate if you don't have the right people around you, right? So which is why we were like, okay, let's set up something that everybody could come together, and who has the knowledge or the skills, the expertise, and who needs it, they come together and they meet at a certain point, and then they are able to, you know, collaborate and do something powerful, something transformational in any community that they go into. So guys, these are resources that are already available for you. So please do well to either join the community. It's free to join the community, and it's just a token to get the book. Either join the community or get the book. You don't have to get the book to join the community. The community is free of charge to join. So please, guys, if you do not take anything from here today, take that Kemi has said, that, you know, clarity comes from doing. You need to seek more. You need to collaborate, guys. So thank you, everyone, for joining in. Thank you to our amazing guest speaker. Although her network, I mean, we're all going through a lot in the country, in the continent at this point. But yes, for those who joined early, you were able to hear from her directly. And for those who are just joining, the replay will be up on our bio for a while, and then we'll even post it, turn it into a post, so you can always go back to it and learn from this. This is a minefield. This is a library of information that, you know, we're putting out here just so that we are all able to come together and accomplish great things, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa as a whole, right? So thank you, everyone, for joining in. Have an amazing evening. And yes, it's TGIF again. So TGIF, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you all so much for joining in.